as some of us say, the demand for racism in a lot of cases far outweighs the supply for it. Now, why that is, I think, is a conversation certainly worth having. It's important. It's an important conversation to have because race hustlers are a thing. Famous French actor, I don't know if you guys have heard of him. His name is Juicy Smollett. He, for example, created a hoax and pulled it right out of his bunghole. And he still gets to just be among it. It'd be like it's never happened for a lot of people. That he just sat there and made up an egregious story. I don't think you guys understand the sheer amount of fake hate crimes that exist in this world. They're not going to obviously get as much publicity as other things. But think about it. There's a lot of fake hate crimes. We have another one. And a lot of them happen on school campuses. Ain't that something? So Albion, I think it's how you say it, college. And they put out a bunch of tweets. I remember seeing this. How all these, they had the string of just racism and all this stuff going on campus. And of course, they're above that. They're above all of this racism because being not racist is a you want to make sure that people understand that you're not racist because that's a difficult position to have in 2021. But we found out, so basically what happened, there was some graffiti. And, I hate N-words type of stuff that was going on with the graffiti. Typical. We've seen this before. I would think at this point you're thinking like, okay, did that really get wrote by some racists? You got all these white women, white girls on campus. Oh my God, we can't stand for this. Oh my God, this cannot be. We have to show that we're above this. All the students, the faculty, and the administration, they get involved, right? They want to take a stand, bold statement against racism. Well, that graffiti, as reported here, fucking black guy wrote it. We covered a story, I think, a couple years ago. Same thing on campus. Guy did a fake hate crime on himself. Like his car got spray painted and come to find out he was the one that sprayed. How you gonna fake hate crime on yourself, man? What are y'all doing, man? But as they made all these statements talking about the graffiti that, as it mentions right here, the graffiti which included racist epithets and multiple references to the Ku Klux Klan. This is in Michigan, too. And they found out that it was a black student that did it. And they wouldn't even concede. I believe they show the tweet right here. Yeah. They still won't concede that, okay, it was a hoax. They won't even use the term. Like you had to make this stipulation right here, but we know the acts of racism have occurred this week are not about one particular person or one particular incident. They couldn't even come out and say, okay, yeah, the guy lied. He pulled a whole juicy small yay. They didn't even put that like when they tweeted. Like when they said earlier today, we identified the individual. They didn't say black man actually was responsible for a black student, right, was responsible, and it was all a bunch of bull crap. They didn't even concede that, though that's what would happen. But it does say, for those of you that are curious, they have the student has been removed from campus and placed on temporary suspension, while we conduct a full investigation. It's part of our judicial process. Look, as rotten as I may think public education is, which it is, I mean, university education is, college, it's all bullcrap for the most part, but nonetheless, that's why a lot of people get all this bogus information. racism, it's one of those things that exist. Of course, I mean, you can say that about almost anything. It's a concept that exists. But does it exist to the degree that it's talked about in the American culture? Of course not. And it never did. It never did. Maybe, all right, let me say never did. Backtrack. In the 60s or something, and before we talk about actual racism by way of the state, right? Not talking about like what it is that we actually got over that hump a while back, and then somehow we moved back, right? Remember in the late 90s, 2000s, when people like were over the hump, black people would watch, you know, whatever shows that they wanted to watch. You could go from Living Single to, you know, Married with Children, Seinfeld and stuff, and everything was good. Everybody was, for the most part, over that hump, and you had some race hustlers that were still trying to keep it alive. Somehow they managed to be successful, and then in the 2010s, in the mid 2010s, the crap went to crap again. And somehow you act like there's a Klansman around every corner. The fact that people didn't look at this in freaking Albion, Michigan, at the college, and didn't look at a bunch of random Klansman bull crap, and then first think, okay, that's probably fake, means that they want this stuff to be true. And a lot of race hustlers need it to be true. They have nothing else. If you want to know why people keep this racism bullcrap around, right? Well, they make it seem as if it is more prominent than what it actually is because they depend on it. Activists have nothing else. They have nothing else going for them. And unfortunately, you've created an entire generation of professional protesters and activists. They have nothing else. Their whole entire being, fulfillment, stems from that, trying to fucking virtue signal, man. So they have nothing else. So any event you take that away, what do they have? It ain't like they got a skill. They ain't learning at that college with that bullshit degree that they getting. That certainly ain't the case. And what they ain't got nothing else. So in order for them to get fulfillment, in order for them to feel like a righteous, just person, they need that stuff to exist. Now, other people are more evil. Some people need that stuff to pretend as if they exist so they can come by and swoop down and feel like they the savior or something. Politicians do that. Well, they perpetuate those ideas so they can then, it's like a fake problem. It's like create the problem, also create the solution. That's kind of how they work. A lot of folks need that stuff to exist. They have nothing else in the event that it doesn't exist. They need that stuff to exist. So that's that. Another fake race hustling hoax crime yet again. You just watched a clip from my podcast For Canon's Sake. Catch us live at 12 p.m. throughout the week over at youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and follow us over at odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. If you want to watch the entire video cast after the show is over, just be sure to become a member on the YouTube channel. Of course, the full audio portion of the podcast is available for free on all major digital platforms, or just visit forcanonsake.com.